In accordance with the board's bylaws, as chairperson, I will now call the quarterly meeting of the Board of Trustees of Illinois State University to order at 9:15 a.m. I note for the record that notice of today's meeting was posted in accordance with the Illinois Open Meetings Act, and the public has been notified of the date, time, and location of this meeting. As noted in the meeting notice, the university has provided a YouTube link that allows all interested persons to view the meeting live and hear all discussions and votes. Trustee Navarro, please call the roll.
Trustee Bone.
Present.
Trustee Henniges.
Present.
Trustee Lutt.
Here.
Trustee Merminga.
Present.
Trustee Navarro, present. Trustee Peterson.
Present.
Trustee Russell.
Present.
Trustee Tillis.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. You have before you the agenda for today's meeting. May I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Motion made by Trustee Tillis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Lutt. Is there any discussion? Having no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. At this time, we're going to take a moment to congratulate this year's student laureate of the Lincoln Academy of Illinois, Cruz Barrera. Cruz, will you please join me at the podium? Get to that too. Each year, the Lincoln Academy awards one senior student from each of the state's four-year degree-granting colleges and universities for their leadership and service in pursuit of the betterment of humanity and for overall excellence in curricular and extracurricular activities. Cruz Barrera is expected to graduate from Illinois State in May 2026 with a bachelor's degree in psychology and a minor in sociology. His long-term goal is to pursue a PhD in counseling psychology. We really need that in our world. Cruz's academic achievements are many. In fact, earlier this year, he received the most prestigious university-wide honor bestowed on undergraduate students, the Bone Scholarship. Congratulations on that. This award is presented to undergraduate students who combine excellent academic achievement and community engagement on and off campus with exceptional qualities of character and leadership. The competition for the scholarship is rigorous, and he was one of 14 students to receive this award for the 2025-2026 academic year. An active member of the honors program, Cruz also participates in the Department of Psychology's peer mentorship program, which fosters community among first-year and transfer students. In January 2025, Cruz created a registered student organization, Psyched for Success, which provides free, personalized academic support to students enrolled in advanced psychology courses. He's also an active member of the Student Psychology Association and Psi Chi, an international honor society. Cruz, we wish you the best in your future endeavors. Please join me in congratulating Cruz.
I have it.
Great.
I'm not going to say too much because I don't have much to say. When I first heard I received the Lincoln Laureate, I was like, what is that? Then after doing my own research and figuring what it was all about, I figured I couldn't be more honored to receive this honor. In the current moment that we find ourselves in, I think it's more important than ever to look towards the future with a sign of, I like to call it optimistic realism, because looking to the future requires looking into the past and acknowledging our past mistakes, but also having that feeling of hope and an inspiration that we could do better in the future. And that's what I'm hoping to do in my future career as a counseling psychologist. I'm done yapping. Thank you.
I think with students like Cruz, our future's in good shape. Next on the agenda is public comments. Several people have indicated interest in making public comments to the board today. In accordance with established and recorded policy, the Board of Trustees will allow up to 30 minutes in total for public comments and questions during a public meeting. Each speaker is permitted 5 minutes for their presentation. If more than 2 people wish to speak on a single item, it's recommended that they designate 1 or more people to speak on their behalf. The Board of Trustees will accept copies of the speaker's presentations, questions, and other relevant written materials. If you have any written materials you want to share with the trustees, you may send them to bot@ilstu.edu. When appropriate, the Board of Trustees will provide a response to a speaker's questions within a reasonable amount of time. At this time, I invite Owen McGregor to come to the podium and proceed with your comments to the board.
We can take it, right?
Good morning. Illinois State University claims to be a campus of equity, diversity, and belonging. You claim it is a safe community for students of diverse backgrounds. Yet, as I am speaking to you today, Jelani Day has been dead for 5.5 years. 5.5 years since a black student at our institution went missing and was found dead. I believe ISU should do more to honor Jelani Day. I am here on behalf of Students for Justice in Palestine concerning Caterpillar Auditorium in the State Farm Hall of Business. Caterpillar is a company which profits directly from Israel's genocide in the Gaza Strip. Caterpillar has been selling military hardware to Israel for decades. International bodies such as the United Nations and Amnesty International have repeatedly condemned Caterpillar for their complicity in war crimes. While we did not have access to all of Illinois State University's dealings with Caterpillar, we are aware of substantial donations from the corporation, which allowed the naming of 2 facilities in their honor. Illinois State University's continued financial relationship with Caterpillar has been reflecting very poorly on this institution. Even if you abandon the moral and political concerns, it is a long-term liability for the university, considering public opinion has only been growing more negative toward Israel and companies like Caterpillar who enable violent crimes. Because of this growing issue, Students in Justice for Palestine has launched a campus-wide effort to rename the Caterpillar Auditorium in the State Farm Hall of Business to the Jelani Day Memorial Auditorium. The honorable name was decided upon after running a series of student-focused polls last semester, and Jelani Day Memorial Auditorium won decisively. Jelani Day was a black graduate student at Illinois State University in the speech pathology program. In August of 2021, Jelani was reported missing from campus. After a lack of urgency from local police forces, a search campaign was spearheaded by his mother. Jelani's body was eventually found near Peru, Illinois, which is a known sundown town. The case of his disappearance and death still remain unsolved to this day. We believe this naming decision represents a missed opportunity to honor ISU's institutional core values and perpetuates financial ties that conflict with student concerns. With the exception of the State Farm Hall of Business, our campus buildings commemorate individuals who have made meaningful contributions to Illinois State legacy. We believe Jelani Day deserves this recognition. According to Illinois State University Policy 6.1.37(4)(c), naming in honor of individuals, corporations, or other entities, any naming decision requires Board of Trustees approval. The policy explicitly allows for renaming in, quote, unusual circumstances when it appears a prior naming could be damaging to the reputation of the university or not be in the best interest of the university. Also in Policy 6.1.37 in Section 5B, a proposal to name a facility or an entity in honor or memory of a specific individual may be initiated by a written process that is signed by 10 or more members of the university community. With the Board of Trustees' approval today, Students for Justice in Palestine, alongside the Jelani Day Foundation, will submit a university name change request to honor the legacy of a beloved ISU graduate while renouncing a company that actively damages the reputation of the university. Students for Justice in Palestine and the broader supportive community who have helped this project will continue to advocate for these requests that represent a substantial appreciation to the student body and their concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, Owen. At this time, I invite Chuck Carver to come to the podium and proceed with your comments to the board.
Good morning. I'm Chuck Carver, ASPE Local 1110 President. We are the building service workers, campus dining workers, grounds workers, and more. The ISU community touches and benefits from our work on a daily basis. We are currently working on an expired contract, and we have been since July 1st of last year. We have had 26 bargaining sessions, and the last month brought in a federal mediator to hopefully bring the parties together. After the first day with the mediator, we were hopeful that we would reach a tentative agreement if ISU accepted our offer. Unfortunately, ISU responded with their last, best, and final offer. We were angered to find out that ISU's offer lacked key components needed to reach an agreement, and it was not something our bargaining committee would agree to. But before we could even put out a vote, ISU decided to put the contents of their last, best, and final offer out on their public website. It is not customary for the offer to be published by either side prior to a vote. Additionally, ISU distorted its offer of its presentation. ISU indicates that it's a 3.5-year contract. They are offering a 5-year contract. There is a reference to the shift differentials increasing 30 to 50%. They leave out the increases are 10 cents and 20 cents, and which have not increased for over 20 years. Many employers today provide shift differentials of $1 or higher. We aren't close. While you mention of a one-time lump sum bonus of $350, what you fail to mention is that you are refusing to make a first-year wage increase retroactive, resulting in an employee losing hundreds of dollars in pay for no good reason. But the reason seems clear to us. We are being punished for trying to improve the wages, hours, and working conditions of our members, your employees. We are being punished for being a union. We did start out with many proposals on the table that would benefit our members. ISU routinely, repeatedly rejected many of our proposals. ISU wanted us to accept their no's and move on. We did not and have not. We took our last, best, and final offer to our members for a vote. It was overwhelmingly voted down. It was not a surprise to us. We told you what we needed to reach an agreement, and you ignored us, and then you dumped on us. This is no way to treat your employees. The wages of our members are right above minimum wage and student wages. Many of our members do not earn a living wage. When the last offer was presented, it was bragged that those making $16.66 an hour would be making $19.40 by 2029. The living wage and for an individual in this county is $20.24 right now. As if that wasn't bad enough, the campus wage program is higher than what it was been negotiated. You don't want to give the difference, holding us down and back on every turn. Meanwhile, a couple of years ago, we organized a few employees in the snack bar supervisor title and brought them into our union. Over the last couple of years, ISU has spent over $66,000 in outside attorney fees to keep them out of our local. But at the same time, ISU doesn't want to pay employees fairly. All of this amounts to one thing, union busting, and it is disgusting. ISU, we do have such a disdain for your employees. Why do you have such a disdain for your employees? President Tarhouli, please explain this to us. Our leadership team would like to meet with you and gain understanding. We want to speak to you so you can hear directly from the frontline workers what's happening at this university. I will reach out to your office to schedule a meeting. As our local assesses our next step, one thing is clear. ISU, do better. We want a fair contract now. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck Carver. At this time, I invite Dustin Dawson to come to the podium and proceed with your comments to the board.
Good morning, and thank you. My name is Dustin Dawson. So I'll just start off by saying my family has a long history with ISU. I've lived in this town all my life. Both my parents and my sister went to school here. But beyond my personal history with the university, ISU has its own history, a history of supporting and furthering the education of thousands of students each year. ISU is essentially the heart of Normal, Illinois. I'm grateful to be a part of that. I work as a storekeeper at ISU's warehouse, and it is a job I am proud of. My coworkers and I ensure everyone on campus has the products they need. We provide access to cleaning supplies, materials for our BSWs, as well as all the necessary tools and parts for the various trades workers on campus. Our team at the warehouse decided to join AFSCME Local 1110 in 2025 in response to our low wages. In the state of Illinois and in this particular county, the living wage is well above the wage that my team and I are currently provided in exchange for our work. To me, it seems fair that we would expect some reconciliation between the two. In that spirit, my coworkers and I chose to take collective action in the hopes of motivating our employer to bring about that reconciliation. And that collective action entailed joining the union. Contract bargaining is new to me, but the process thus far indicates that the university doesn't listen to us. While we do have decent benefits, which is important to acknowledge, those benefits lose value when the limit of our wages affects our ability to maintain housing or afford groceries, our ability to live comfortably without having to work multiple jobs, especially for those of us with families to support. It is also disappointing that ISU seems to disregard the experience and knowledge of its long-term frontline employees. I have a coworker at the warehouse who has worked at ISU for nearly 20 years. That's 2 decades. She works in a classification 2 levels above mine, but despite all those years of service and loyalty, she still makes less than $21 an hour. She is only one of numerous dedicated employees with a story like this, and this gives the impression that ISU is either unable or unwilling to provide any sort of longevity. In my time working at the university, I've seen similar issues that other Local 1110 members have seen, and I don't like it. As a result, I, along with nearly 300 other Local 1110 employees, have signed cards stating, yes, I'm committed to doing whatever it takes to win a fair contract. In addition to the Local 1110 employees, we have many other coworkers, students, parents, and members of the ISU community standing in solidarity with us. We have hundreds of signatures on a petition directed at you, President Tarhouli, and the ISU Board of Trustees. It states the following. As a member of the ISU community, I'm disturbed to learn of the treatment that members of AFSCME Local 1110 have received from this university as they negotiate a new union contract. Despite being the workers to clear snow, feed students, and clean and care for the campus, many of these workers do not earn a living wage. When the leaders of this university are making 6-figure salaries, it's unacceptable that any frontline employee should struggle to make ends meet. I am joining other members of our community to call on you immediately to agree to a fair union contract that pays ISU workers the fair wages they deserve. The number of signers to this petition is only growing, and it's time to do the right thing. Stop stonewalling your employees. Your workers are saying loud and clear what they want, and while those initial demands may be more than you're willing to grant, the fact that you refuse to negotiate any further while barely giving any ground shows a severe lack of compassion and good faith. We want you to come back to the table, actually listen to us, acknowledge that we are also people asking only for the ability to pay our bills and live with a little more dignity. And we want you to work with us rather than against us. We want a fair contract now. Thank you.
Thank you, Dustin Dawson. At this time, I invite Ben Matthews to come to the podium and proceed with your comments to the board.
Good morning, President Tarhouli and members of the Board of Trustees. My name is Ben Matthews. I'm here this morning as a lab school graduate, a legacy alum, a loyal donor, and a lifelong Redbird. My mother, my oldest daughter, and I all proudly graduated from the College of Education. My daughter, a presidential scholar, now works as a bilingual special education teacher in Bloomington District 87. And after teaching elementary school in Unit 5, I have been working for the Illinois Education Association since 2007, advocating for public education and public education employees throughout Bloomington Normal, including at Metcalf and University High School. While I am here with what remains of my Redbird pride, I am also here to express to you my deep disappointment. The educators at Metcalf and U-High, including those working with hearing and vision impaired students served by Hilia, organized the Lab School Education Association nearly 2 years ago. Because the university decided to invest more money and resources and energy into fighting the union rather than working with the union, we just got to the bargaining table for the first time last month. We expressed to the university's bargaining team our desire to operate in a positive and collaborative manner. And we heard those same words echoed back to us. And then the bargaining started. And the university's approach at the bargaining table has been anything but collaborative. I've been watching the university engage with other unions, and I've observed the strained labor management relationships that exist across campus. So I'm not surprised, but I am disappointed. There is a different way to operate. There is a better way to operate. I know, because I've seen it, I've lived it, and I've practiced it in other places, with other employers, and at other bargaining tables. When I articulated to your representatives that there's a better way to operate, and we don't always have to be adversarial, I was told that the university doesn't believe that the way we operate at the bargaining table has anything to do with the labor management relationship. I could not disagree more. I believe that the way the parties behave in bargaining, at the table, and how they interact with each other is a direct reflection of the existing labor management relationship, and it sets the tone for that relationship moving forward. Your message to this point has been clear. ISU wants to have an adversarial relationship with us in bargaining and beyond. I am requesting that you reconsider your approach. In your efforts to achieve excellence by design, ISU values collaboration and respect. Yet those values are absent when engaging with your employees and bargaining with their unions. As your employees, they deserve better. And as their advocate, I am here demanding better. When I was a student here in the 90s, learning to be an educator, much of the training I received focused on realizing the democratic ideal. Even out of the classroom and in my current role, I take that challenge seriously, and I seek to live it out regularly. I wish that the university that taught me the importance of realizing the democratic ideal would reflect on it and reconsider the way you approach your labor management relationships. You don't have to treat your unions and employees as adversaries in order to meet your interests or achieve your goals. Collaboration and respect, contagious intellectual enthusiasm, and courage enough to be creative are effective tools at the bargaining table too. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben Matthews. At this time, I invite Ashley Farmer to come to the podium and proceed with your comments to the board.
Good morning. I'm Ashley Farmer, and I'm here on behalf of the United Faculty of ISU to show our unwavering support for AFSCME Local 1110. And I also want to extend our solidarity to the Lab Schools Education Association. You might have seen, or as you heard Chuck mention, ISU's last, best, and final offer for AFSCME workers that was published on their website. And it actually made me think about a graduate school professor I had, Dr. Joel Best, and one of the books he wrote called Stat Spotting, a field guide to identifying dubious data. It's a great book that I reference often when I teach research methods, and highly recommend it. But the big takeaway from this book is that people can present data in ways that while not technically incorrect, are misleading. And so this is what I immediately noticed when I saw ISU's last offer on their website. For example, a 30 to 50% increase in shift differentials sounds good until you realize that the shift differential range currently is just around 30 to 50 cents and hasn't been increased in decades. Or the comment about the length of the contract when the employer so far has refused to give retroactive pay to last summer when their contract expired, but is including that in the time length of the contract. To the administration and the Board of Trustees, it is in everyone's best interest to give AFSCME 1110 a fair contract. The workers in AFSCME 1110 often do thankless work for our university. From groundskeeping and hospitality to snow removal and dining services, these are all essential to keep ISU running. It is especially in ISU's interest to settle a fair contract because when you value your employees, surprisingly, they value you back. And to all of AFSCME 1110, please know that UFISU fully supports you and the work that you do, and we will stand in solidarity with you in whatever ways that we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley Farmer. Well, good morning, and thank you for joining us for today's meeting of the Board of Trustees on February 20th, 2026. Earlier this morning, the Campus Communication Committee hosted a highly informative discussion hour, and I want to thank Dr. Gina Hunter, Director of the Office of Student Research, for her presentation titled "The State of Undergraduate Research at Illinois State," as well as the Image of Research exhibit featuring submissions to that competition that took place earlier this month. I also want to thank Tom Kaiser, Dean of the College of Engineering, for yesterday's tour of the new College of Engineering facility on GE Road in Bloomington. We look forward to its opening in the fall and the transformational impact the facility will have on our students, the college, and the university. We have enjoyed participating in this year's founding celebration activities and appreciate the opportunity to acknowledge the achievements of our students, employees, and alumni. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I want to extend my sincere congratulations to all faculty and staff award winners recognized this week. The Illinois State University law requires that the Board of Trustees complete an annual performance review of the president. The annual performance review of President Tarhuli for the time period from March 18th, 2024 to June 30th, 2025 is included in the meeting materials and is posted on the board's website, serving as a written record of President Tarhuli's annual performance review. As set forth in the review, the Board of Trustees finds that President Tarhuli's overall performance for the time period noted exceeded expectations and that he met or exceeded most of his goals and objectives as established. The board appreciates President Tarhuli's dedication and commitment to the university and looks forward to his continued leadership. I would like to personally thank President Tarhuli for his continuing work on the goals that we've agreed upon by you and the board, and I look forward to continuing that relationship. I now will turn to President Andrew Tarhuli for his remarks.
Thank you, Chairperson Board, and good morning. I would also like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to Cruz Barrera for his selection as Illinois State Student Laureate for the Lincoln Academy of Illinois. Additionally, thank you to Dr. Gina Hunter for your presentation this morning. I enjoyed learning about our students' research, especially how it intersects with art, as evidenced by the image of research posters on display in the Brown Ballroom. This annual competition, hosted by the Office of Student Research, took place earlier this month. The program provides undergraduate and graduate students the opportunity to submit one static image of their research. Research innovation or creative inquiry, along with a short abstract that explains the image and its connection to their project. Entries are then evaluated by professional artists and creatives who judge submissions for visual impact, uniqueness, and clarity of the connection between image, text, and project. I would like to take a moment to introduce Alondra Zegal. Alondra serves as student body president and is a junior from North Alabama, majoring in public relations. She's a proud member of Alpha Delta Pi. Illinois State has become a second home to her, and she considers it an honor to be able to give back to her community by advocating for students. Alondra, are you in the audience? Please join me in welcoming Alondra to her home. Thank you. I'd also like to thank Noah Montoya for his service in this role. Noah, are you in the audience? Please help me thank Noah for his commitment. I am pleased to share that our university has made significant progress in redesigning our budget, work that will strengthen Illinois State for years to come. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to this effort: the RISE Task Force, the implementation team, colleagues in the Division of Finance and Planning, budget officers across campus, our partners at Grant Thornton, and the many students, faculty, and staff who attended town halls and offered thoughtful, candid feedback. We are now entering the most important phase of this work, implementation. As we take this step, there are a few things I want our campus community to understand clearly. First, this new budget model doesn't create new money. It gives us a clearer, more transparent view of the revenue each unit generates and the cost each unit incurs. That means that if a unit shows a negative budget, the model didn't cause that shortfall. More likely, that negative amount has persisted for years, and we can now finally see it, quantify it, and address it responsibly. Second, I encourage everyone to treat these initial results as a starting point, not a verdict. This budget model is a tool for better decision-making. It provides shared facts so we can ask better questions. Where can we reduce expenses without compromising quality? Where can we grow revenue in ways that align with our mission? And where should we intentionally invest, even if it costs more, because the work is mission critical and essential to who we are? Third, and most importantly, this budget aligns expenses with revenues. This will allow us to see fiscal patterns as they emerge so that we can take strategic action to respond to those patterns. I want to be open about the fact that future financial pressures may present difficult choices. At the same time, I want to emphasize that a forecast is not a foregone conclusion. It reflects our best understanding today, and our actions, planning, and collective effort can help shape what comes next. Going forward, all commitments, such as launching new programs, setting new priorities and initiatives, and making salary and compensation decisions, will only be made when we have sustainable resources to support them. This is how we protect our long-term financial health and our people and our mission. My hope is that we will do what Redbirds have always done: work together, stay focused on our mission, use this model thoughtfully, make smart judgments and adjustments, refine what needs refining, and build the future that this university and our students deserve. As we implement our new budget model, we confront persistent fiscal challenges and look ahead with measured optimism. In the governor's State of the State and FY27 budget address on Wednesday, February 18, 2026, the governor recommended a 1% increase for higher education over the fiscal year 2026 appropriation, which represents an increase of $822,000 and a total general fund appropriation of $82,997. The governor's proposed budget maintains the state MAP appropriation at $721.6 million. That's statewide, not just Illinois State. Approximately 7,000 undergraduate students at Illinois State received MAP funding for the 25-26 academic year. We are grateful for the governor's leadership and for the continued partnership of the General Assembly in advancing higher education. We also recognize the significant fiscal challenges confronting our state and appreciate the thoughtful consideration given to sustaining investment in our public institutions during this time. Now, I'd like to turn to happier news, highlighting some exciting accomplishments and share several points of pride. First, as this is our first Board of Trustees meeting since our historic run and impressive finish as FCS National Championship runners-up, I want to take a moment to congratulate the entire ISU football operation. Special thanks go to Coach Brock Spark and the coaching staff, Athletics Director Jerry Burks, the leadership and staff of the Division of Athletics, alumni, community donors, supporters, and all campus partners who contributed to ISU's outstanding national championship performance. Above all, our players showed extraordinary grit, resilience, class, and a fighting spirit that uplifted the MVC and inspired the whole country. My heart overflowed with pride as we watched them face adversity, refuse to give up when all seemed lost, and persist against all odds until the very end. Their story will be remembered and celebrated for years to come. I truly hope that someone makes a movie of this experience. ISU shone in every aspect, and I'm truly honored to lead this university during this remarkable time. Here are additional numbers I hope you will find as impressive as I did. The FCS National Championship game averaged 2.3 million viewers on ESPN, marking the third most watched FCS title game on record. Viewership peaked at 3 million during the overtime period. There were nearly 10,000 individual mentions of Illinois State on television and radio and the online news outlets across the country during the postseason run. That is nearly 7 times the monthly number of mentions that we average. University social media posts about the Redbird football team garnered a combined 29.7 million impressions and 1.2 million engagements. While we fell just short of the national championship, I have told Athletics Director Jerry Burks that our mission is to finish what we started this year. We can't wait another 10 years to return to the national stage. My heartfelt call to the entire Redbird family is this: return to Nashville next year and finish the job. This will require the unwavering support and dedication of everyone, players, coaches, staff, leadership, donors, and sponsors, working together with passion and belief in our team. Secondly, on Tuesday, January 13th, the Illinois State University community gathered to celebrate the ceremonial groundbreaking of the Wonsor Kim College of Fine Arts Transformation Project, an $87 million investment through the state's rebuilt Illinois Capital Program that will reimagine the fine arts complex at the southeast corner of the Quad. Joined by Governor J.B. Pritzker, who affirmed the vital role of the arts in strengthening society and inspiring future generations of Redbirds, university leaders marked the beginning of a project that will replace Centennial West with a new common building, expand the Center for the Visual Art, add a two-story enhancement to the Center for the Performing Arts, and renovate instructional and performance spaces across the complex. Scheduled for completion in 2028, the transformation promises to foster creativity, innovation, and pride for years to come. There's extraordinary momentum across our university, and while no single list could fully capture the breadth of achievements unfolding each day, I would like to highlight several accomplishments that reflect the talent, dedication, and enduring spirit of our community. New data from the 2024 calendar year published by the Elsevier Data Repository in fall 2025 names 20 scientists from Illinois State University in the top 2% of cited researchers globally. I heartily congratulate each of these researchers and faculty members on their accomplishments and the honor they have brought to Illinois State. Their work demonstrates the scientific impact our Redbird faculty researchers have on their respective fields. The College of Arts and Sciences has launched a new General Education Teaching Innovation Grant program to support the development of innovative courses and interdisciplinary undergraduate certificates in preparation for the university's forthcoming Gen 28 curriculum. In addition, the new College of Arts and Sciences Ignite grant program provides seed funding to catalyze innovative scholarships and to position faculty for future external funding. The College of Arts and Sciences honors faculty with a distinguished lectureship, one of the college's highest honors for outstanding research, teaching, and scholarship. Recent recipients include Bruce Birmingham and Andrew Hartman. Congratulations to those winners. The College of Business has started a new initiative, Redbird's Financial Literacy Initiative. The objective of this initiative is to provide training in basic financial skills to students, staff, and faculty, and other community members, including managing bank accounts, saving for emergencies, evaluating apartment leases, and making car loan payments. The College of Education was accepted as a member of the Council of Academic Deans from Research Education Institutions, a prestigious membership for R1 and R2 colleges of education focused on education policy, advanced educational opportunities, and professional learning. The Future Teacher Conference hosted nearly 1,600 prospective high school students interested in teaching. This effort was made possible by our Student Success Initiatives in partnerships with ISU Admissions, the Lobby Center, the EFAL Center, the Redbird Educator Scholars Program, teacher education departments across the university, and school district partners. Two faculty members, Dr. Annette Huber and Dr. John Kim, have been selected to receive the Illinois Department of Higher Education's Nurse Fellowship Award for 2025-2026. In addition to celebrating 55 years as a college, this year, the Wansel Kim College of Fine Arts is marking milestone anniversaries, including 50 years of normal editions and 25 years of creative technologies at Illinois State University, formerly the Arts Technology Program, now the School of Creative Technologies. Through an expanding social media presence and strong digital engagement, Career Services is meeting students where they are and elevating awareness of career opportunities. This spring's internship and career fair connected more than 800 students with nearly 90 organizations and over 160 employer representatives, underscoring robust demand on both sides. On-site support, including professional headshots, preparation workshops, and a dedicated student lounge, ensured students arrived ready to make the most of every opportunity. Michelle Whitehead, Associate Dean of Students, was recognized by the National Association for Campus Activities and the NSCF Foundation as the 2026 Founders Award recipient, which is the association's highest honor, given to those individuals who, during the years, have given their time and talents in such a way as to contribute significantly to the NACA. Recipients exemplify professional integrity and conduct, have achieved stature in their profession or academic pursuits, command the esteem of their colleagues and peers, and have worked to advance campus activities programming. Michelle is also retiring from ISU at the end of this month. Congratulations, Michelle. I don't know if Michelle is in the audience today, but let's give her a round of applause. Beyond this point of pride, the generosity of our alumni and friends has translated that momentum into meaningful action, fueling fundraising successes that strengthen our mission and expand opportunities for the students we serve. University Advancement fundraising efforts are strong again this year, with private support for fiscal year 2026 currently at over $35.5 million. Our annual Day of Giving, Birds Give Back, begins next Thursday, February 26. The theme is Give for the Gold, inspired by the spirit, teamwork, and excellence on display at the Winter Olympics. With your help, I know we can keep our fundraising momentum going towards a record-setting goal of 4,454 gifts. On today's consent agenda are two naming resolutions, one for the Percy Family Heating Bay, made possible through the generous financial commitment of Rick Percy, and the other for the Sarah Loomis Heating Bay, made possible through the generosity of Sarah Loomis. These resolutions afford us the distinct privilege of formally recognizing benefactors whose leadership and philanthropy advance our mission and strengthen the university for generations to come. We extend our deepest gratitude for their partnership and are honored to commemorate their enduring commitment in this meaningful way. Before I conclude my remarks, I would like to invite our entire community to join us for the next installment of the Presidential Speaker Series. We are honored to welcome Michio Kaku, renowned futurist, distinguished physicist, and best-selling author, as our featured guest speaker. Please join us for this free event at 7 p.m. on April 2nd in the Brown Ballroom. Lastly, this week's founding celebration events commemorate our founding in 1857 and honor the vision of our founders and the generations of students, faculty, and staff, and alumni who have shaped our legacy. As president, Founders Day holds special significance for me. It is a powerful reminder of the pioneering spirit that established our university and our community's ongoing dedication. I sincerely hope you were able to participate in the various events this week and reflect on our shared heritage, recognize distinguished achievements, and reaffirm our commitment to excellence in teaching, scholarship, and research. And that concludes my remarks. I would now like to call on today's spokesperson for the Campus Communication Committee, Terry Jackson Jr., who serves as data coordinator in the Lobby Teacher Education Center and an ex-officio member of the Civil Service Council.
Good morning. The Campus Communication Committee would first like to thank Dr. Gina Hunter, Director of the Office of Student Research, for her informative presentation this morning. We are lucky to have Dr. Hunter as a member of our community. On behalf of the community, we would like to thank the Board of Trustees for the continued opportunity to share the climate of the campus. The committee acknowledges the recent accomplishments in the ISU community. We share in the excitement of the groundbreaking for the Woonsock Kim College of Fine Arts Transformation Project, as well as a renewed momentum toward the construction of the South Campus Residence Hall. Our constituents also took particular pride in the Redbird football team's national championship run. The committee is also excited about the changes to the groups we represent. The student government election process is underway and should last through March. There is also progress toward a merger of the AP and Civil Service Councils to form a united staff council. The Academic Senate recently approved the changes to the ISU Constitution, and we eagerly await the final approval from the Board of Trustees. We are thankful that these groups continue to have a voice through the university's shared governance structure. The committee would also like to recognize challenges felt by our constituents. The continuing work on the new budget model has required some budget managers to make decisions with incomplete information as they attempt to forecast and allocate funds to the best of their ability for their units and the university. Our constituents look forward to continued communication and opportunities to learn more so that we may serve the university to the best of our ability. Limited parking availability for students, staff, and faculty continues to be a challenge, particularly with the added challenge of inclement weather and construction projects on campus. We have students trying to balance a schedule of in-person and online classes while competing for access to campus. The committee would like to encourage our leaders to strongly consider commuter accommodations in their decision-making process. As always, the Campus Communication Committee and the groups we represent are steadfast in our commitment to the Illinois State community. Thank you again for the opportunity to share the pulse of the campus and the topics that matter to our constituents.
Thank you, Terry. There's one report today, the FY25 Grants and Contracts Report. This FY25 Grants and Contracts Report captures grants and contracts directed through Illinois State University's restricted accounts managed by research and sponsored programs. As a national research university, ISU is committed to making a positive impact on our community through our scholarly and creative activities, students' experiential learning, and university outreach. Our students, faculty, and staff engage in considerable research and creative activities. ISU has a long tradition of strong internal support for scholarship, including financial support through programs such as the recent Advancing Research and Creative Scholarship Program and the University Research Grant Program. In addition to the financial support we provide internally, external funding makes substantial contributions to advancing these efforts. The work made possible by such funding supports the university's strategic direction to elevate institutional excellence as outlined in Excellence by Design, which supplemented our Educate, Connect, Elevate in FY25. External financial support, and more often the expenditures using that support, is a key factor in several university rankings, including our Carnegie Research Activity designation as a Research 2, high research spending and doctorate production. Support comes through a variety of channels, such as grants, contracts, agency dollars, foundation support, and for several functions, such as research, instruction, and public service. This report captures grants and contracts awarded through Illinois State University's restricted accounts managed by research and sponsored programs. Are there questions or comments from the board about the FY25 Grants and Contracts Activity Report?
I think you can proceed. Or I can proceed. Okay, if there are no questions, we will now move to the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are routine and will be enacted in one more motion. There will be no individual discussion of these items unless a trustee requests it, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered at the appropriate point on the agenda. Do any trustees wish to have any items removed from the consent agenda? So hearing none, may I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda items A to I?
I so move.
Trustee Navarro made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, trustee Merminga. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Items included on the consent agenda are approved. President Tarhuli, please proceed with the resolutions.
Thank you, Chairperson Board. Resolution 2026.02/08, approval of tuition, fees, and room and board rates for academic year 2026 to 2027. Setting tuition and fees is a complex exercise. It requires balancing, on the one hand, affordability for students and their families, and on the other, the resources needed to maintain high educational standards while managing the rising costs of campus operations. Illinois State University remains the lowest funded public university per full-time equivalent student in the state. Funding per student for FY 2026 remains 47% below the average for Illinois public universities. Beyond contributions to retirement and pensions, state revenues account for 14% of the university's total budget, leaving 86% of the funds the university generates annually to come from student tuition, fees, and other sources. I want to briefly explain how the university decides whether to request tuition and fee increases. First, the university estimates how much money we expect to cover operating costs, salaries and wages, student support services, and related expenses for the coming year. Then we subtract the amount of money we expect to receive from the state appropriations and the tuition revenues calculated at the current rate. If the expected appropriations and current tuition revenues are sufficient, then we don't request a tuition increase. Indeed, I am pleased to note that Illinois State University has not increased base tuition for 2 consecutive years. However, if those calculations show that revenue from the state appropriations plus tuition at the current rate will not cover expenses, we first look to see if we can make the numbers work through cost curtailments or other cuts and reductions to the budget. If that still doesn't cover the gap, then we request for a tuition increase in an attempt to cover the expected shortfall. Additionally, we take great care to benchmark our cost of attendance to our peers and competitors to keep our cost as comparable and as competitive as possible. Having diligently followed the above process, the university requests a tuition increase of $20.11 per credit hour, or 5% to the base tuition rate for undergraduate programs for the 2026-2027 academic year. The differential tuition rate for students in the Mennonite College of Nursing, the College of Business, the College of Engineering, Cybersecurity, and Computer Science programs remains unchanged at 15% above the base tuition rate. Additionally, we also request a 5% increase in tuition for in-state and out-of-state graduate students. For room and board, the university requests a 4% increase for FY 26 to 27. Housing continues to be impacted by increases in operational expenses, including but not limited to utilities, facility maintenance and repairs, property insurance, university overhead, and personnel costs. For FY 26 to 27 academic year, Illinois State University requests authority to increase the mandatory fee rate by 2% per credit hour, or 1.71% over the FY 26 rate. If approved, the total cost for new undergraduate students in programs with differential tuition, mandatory fees, and room and board will be $30,605.80, an increase of $1,000 to $1,233.90, or 4.2% compared to FY 2026. For all other new undergraduate students, the total cost will be $28,705.29, an increase of $1,143.29, or 4.15% compared to FY 2026. I ask for your approval of this resolution.
May I have a motion and a second to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Trustee Tillis made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Trustee Henniges, second. Is there any discussion? Trustee Russell.
Yeah, I guess, I just asked President Tarhula, you sort of talked how, in general, the process is to get to, the number, or do you need to increase tuition? But I wonder if you could talk more to this year specifically, how do you come on that dollar amount of percent that was set for tuition and student fees?
Thank you, Trustee Russell. I'd like to invite CFO Glenn Nelson to address that question.
Thank you, Dr. Tarhuli, Madam Chair, and Trustee Russell. In response to your question, we look at and to what President Tarhuli said earlier, we looked at what our increase in costs are. And just for some round numbers for us to consider, a 1% increase in our personnel costs each year costs the university $1.8 million. If we have a 1% increase in all other costs relative to essentially inflationary pressures, that's $1.6 million. So a 1% increase in both of those is $3.4 million. As we put next year's budget together, we're actually looking at an $8.6 million increase between a 3% increase in tuition and a 2% inflationary increase, or excuse me, 3% increase in salaries and a 2% inflation increase. So that 8.5, we need to offset that with revenues, as Dr. Tarhuli said. A 5% tuition increase, while one would think that would offset that and would generate approximately $10 million, we only charge the increase to incoming students. So a 5% increase next year will generate approximately $2.5 million, which doesn't fully cover the cost of those expenditures. So back to the President's opening remarks, we try to balance what the need of the expenses are with the potential for revenue coming into the students. If we actually were covering the entire cost next year of our expenses, the tuition increase would be even greater than 5%. And so that's how we arrived at the number. And in terms of process specific to this year with fees, it's similar to what we've done in the past, which is a presentation is made to the Student Government Association through a fee committee. And we have two fees that will be increasing next year by $1 each. And then that committee votes and recommends that. And I believe SGA then either votes to support or not support it. And they've supported that for this year.
And just to follow up, if, let's say we don't approve this, right? The board doesn't approve this, what's the downfall? What would next year look like?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I didn't hear the whole question.
If the board doesn't approve this, right, what happens next year? What does it look like?
Well, if we don't get the increase, Cabinet will then be spending the next month trying to figure out what areas we need to cut next year. And, that may impact students, that may impact our workforce, that may impact members of our community. But the bottom line is we'd have to find another $2.5 million of either savings or revenue from somewhere.
Dr. Nelson, can you remind us just the last couple of years, what's the tuition change been?
0.
So, and that's been for the last 3 years, is that right? The previous 3 years?
Previous 2 years.
So I guess just given the sort of inflationary environment we're in, even after 3 years, I mean, on an annualized basis, we would still be less than 2%.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Trustee Russell?
Yeah, I just want to state for the record that obviously I've asked these questions before today in private dialogues with the administration, but I'm asking them today to make sure that there's public understanding of the rationale behind these increases. Through my discussions with the university, I've seen the rigorous cost-saving measures that they've taken into place, and the reality truthfully is, right, that we're not alone. Neighboring universities in this region are facing the same challenges that we are facing, and without a more equitable state appropriation, our hands get forced into these difficult decisions. So voting yes is a difficult but necessary decision to prevent the far worse consequences of a budget shortfall. So I'm pleased with the transparency provided by the President's office, and will be voting in support.
Any other discussion? Just to clarify something for Trustee Lutt, 2 years ago, we did pass differential tuition. And that year, we did not increase the base, and last year, we didn't increase anything.
Thanks.
Okay, if there's no other discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is approved.
Thank you. Resolution 2026.02/09, authorization for STEM building financing plan. As required by the Illinois State Capital Development Board, CDB, Illinois State University seeks approval to fund its share of a new STEM building to address longstanding facility and pedagogical challenges in the aging family science annex. With $29.2 million already appropriated by the Illinois General Assembly for roughly half the project, this resolution requests that the Board of Trustees authorize expenditures not to exceed $4 million per year from the academic enhancement fee to pay debt service on the university's portion of the project costs. Currently, the university estimates the total cost of the STEM building to be between $60 and $70 million. The final cost will be presented to the Board of Trustees at the May 8, 2026 meeting once design development is complete. I ask for your approval of this resolution.
May I have a motion and a second to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Trustee Henniges made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Navarro, second. Is there any discussion? I would just like to ask, this resolution, we are not, you're not asking us to approve the STEM building. You're asking us to approve where the money would come from if we move forward with the STEM building.
That is correct. The plan for the STEM building has not yet been finished, and so we don't know exactly how much that building will cost. However, we've had ongoing projects with the CDB, and they require your support, the board's support, in case we find the money to go forward in order for the work that they're doing to continue. And our financing people have said we're working on an extremely tight timeline. So if we wait until the design is complete before we bring this to you, we'll lose valuable months in the progress that we're making. So if you approve this, and for whatever reason you don't approve the resolution in May, then this resolution becomes moot. But if you approve it, then we will continue, the CDB will continue working, and so when you approve it, if you approve the resolution in May, we wouldn't have lost any time towards a very tight deadline.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Trustee Navarro.
So I understand that we're authorizing $4 million a year from the AEF fund. So how many years how many years are we projecting to allocate that $4 million? And is there any, as that fund continues to build, is there any advantage to collecting interest on that fund? And can you talk a little bit about how that works?
I'll ask the CFO to address that.
Madam Chair and Trustee Navarro, the $4 million that we're identifying in the resolution to come from AEF, we did not put a definite end date on that. It would depend on the amount of the total cost of the project. It could be a 10-year, it could be a 20-year, it could be $2 million for a even longer period of time or $4 million for a shorter period of time. In May, when we have the total cost, we'll bring the specific financing plan to you. But we do have, the intent of the resolution is to signal to CDB that we have funds available. We have unallocated funds in the AEF fund that we can earmark for this $4 million per year, which will not deplete our fund balance, and it will not give us any type of deficit in an ongoing basis with the AEF fund. In regard to the second question, or the second part of your question, all of our unspent our unspent funds in the AEF fund are invested and earn interest. So they don't sit idle while we're waiting to spend them.
I would have just been more comfortable if there was an end date to this 4 million per year, but I understand what we're trying to accomplish.
Thank you.
We'll know that in May.
Yes.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is approved.
Thank you. Resolution 2026.02/10, authorization to upgrade Center for Performing Arts audio and lighting systems. Illinois State University proposes a comprehensive upgrade to the Center for Performing Arts, CPA, a key instructional and performance facility completed in 2002. The CPA's existing sound, lighting, and public address systems have exceeded their useful life and are no longer supported by manufacturers and frequently fail to meet current instructional, performance, safety, and industry standards. These deficiencies negatively affect teaching quality, performance capabilities, and operational reliability. The project will modernize performance technology, improve safety and reliability by integrating the public address system with a fire alarm and reduce long-term operational risk. The total cost of these improvements will be $3.2 million, funded by bond revenue reserves and utility rebates. Pending approval, construction is scheduled to begin in spring 2026 with substantial completion by September 1, 2026. I ask for your approval of this resolution.
May I have a motion and a second to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Trustee Lett made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Trustee Murminga, second. Is there any discussion? So I just have one question. My understanding is that we do have these funds available currently.
That's correct.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is approved.
Thank you. Resolution 2026.02/11, authorization to name the Julie and Bob Dapsky concourse. Illinois State University Athletics respectfully requests that a concourse in the Safeco Arena be named the Julie and Bob Dapsky concourse. This naming reflects and acknowledges Julie and Bob Dapsky's generous financial commitment. Julie and Bob Dapsky have been advocates for Illinois State University for several decades, since arriving in the area as owners of several McDonald's restaurants. Bob served on both the ISU Foundation Board of Directors and the Board of Trustees. Julie serves on the College of Business Advisory Council and was awarded an honorary doctorate from Illinois State. They have supported student success in the College of Business and the College of Education and have named spaces in the Bone Student Center and the State Farm Hall of Business. Their dedication to philanthropy has had a major impact on the university and the entire Bloomington-Normal community. Julie and Bob Dapsky's financial commitment to ISU athletics will continue to elevate student experiences for years to come. As a result, we propose naming the concourse the Julie and Bob Dapsky Concourse. I ask for your approval of this resolution.
May I have a motion and a second to approve the resolution?
I so move.
Trustee Navarro made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Trustee Russell, second. Is there any discussion? I would just like to say that I live in this community, as many of you know, and I've known Bob and Julie Dobsky for several years. And our community and our university would not be as successful if it was not for these two people. Thank you so much for what you do for the university and the community, and I look forward to going to the concourse soon with your name on it.
Can I say something?
Sure. Yes.
So I was invited to watch the Super Bowl party at Julie and Bob Dobsky's residence. And I called Bob aside and I said, "You run a strange business. The only thing I see you do is give away money." Because they have really their generosity to the community. It's not just the university, it's everywhere you go and everywhere you turn. I see them giving away money. So I'd like to understand what your secret is to the business. But jokes aside, I think your commitment, not just to Illinois State, but to the community as a whole, is truly admirable and very deeply appreciated. I thank you for your generosity, and we're very grateful to have your supporters and partners. Thank you.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is approved.
Thank you. And that concludes the resolutions for today.
I will now entertain a motion to move into closed session for discussing minutes of meetings lawfully closed under this act for purposes of approval by the body of the minutes pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C21. Discussing litigation that has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, and when an action is probable or imminent pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C11, and discussing collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C2, discussing the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C1. May I have a motion and a second to move into closed session?
So moved.
Trustee Tillis made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Trustee Peterson, second. Any discussion? Having no discussion, Trustee Navarro, please call for a roll call vote.
Trustee Bone.
Yes.
Trustee Henniges.
Yes.
Trustee Lutt.
Yes.
Trustee Marminga.
Yes.
Trustee Navarro, yes. Trustee Peterson.
Yes.
Trustee Russell.
Yes.
Trustee Tillis.
Yes.
The motion is approved. We will now move into closed session. Following closed session, the board will reconvene in public session to vote on the board action discussed during the closed session, but specifically the approval of the closed session meeting minutes from November 6 to 7, 2025, and December 12, 2025, and to adjourn. We are adjourned.
The motion is approved. We will now